Hey MVPs, Rico Knows here. Going to talk to you guys about the results from UFC 312. Shout out to you guys. Thank you guys for being a part of the platform, the channel, and all that stuff. You guys know the deal. The very next day after a UFC card, if it ends pretty late at night, I will do a results show the next morning just so we can rehash what we saw from the fighters, what I anticipated, and then how they performed. We're keeping this on the channel. If you go to Patreon, check the playlist or the collections, you will find results show, if you will. And you can find it on YouTube as well. But anyways, I do want to give a big shout out to all the MVPs. On the last 2 fight cards, I have given out 15 parlays. Parlays, bro. Those are hard to hit. 15 parlays, and we are currently 12-3 on the last 15 parlays. Last night, 5-0 on the locks. Feels really good when you get everything right. And we're just rocking. And I know it's difficult to imagine. Rico, how are you predicting these underdogs are winning all these fights? Well, we'll talk about it. But yeah, we're doing really well. We're above 50% when picking an underdog. In the UFC, that's incredible because when you pick an underdog, those odds are insane. And we'll talk about it because they were insane last night. Let's start at the bottom of the list. Scrolling all the way down. First fight of the night was actually canceled. So then we go to this fight here. Quinyon Sal Kid against Anshul Jubli. Sal Kid was a huge favorite. No crazy things here. He was a minus 750 favorite, if I remember correctly. But here they said pre-fight odds minus 450. I hope you got those odds. Nonetheless, I made Sal Kid a lock. I thought he was a much better fighter than Jubli. Jubli just looks like a charity case. Like, he shouldn't even be in the UFC. Homie got dropped with one strike that looked like a normal strike, if you ask me. Nothing too special. It was just a jab cross, and we didn't learn much about Sal Kid in this particular fight. We learned more about Jubli. Dude's fake as fuck. Now, it was an early stop. Got it. Early stoppage. But what I'm going to tell you guys is we never believed in this kid. We knew it's not there. And I still think Sal Kid is a better grappler than he is a striker. But he looks like a really good fighter. We're still going to have to learn about him. Remember this. The next time he gets in the cage, consider it a UFC debut. Because this was not a debut. This was 13 seconds of just running right through a dude who doesn't belong in your gym type deal. So we still have a lot to learn about Sal Kid. I'm going to tell you right now. He's a dog. He doesn't quit. And he's got great grappling. He is long for the division, and he went out there and did it. So shout out to him, Sal Kid. We'll see who he fights next. Next fight, Mikalev against Jusset. This is a fight I got wrong. One of the few I got wrong. I said take Jusset. Now, I didn't make this a lock for a number of reasons. Yes, he's a minus 190 favorite. Typically, we would want to take that bet and believe in it. I didn't believe in it. You saw it in 0 parlays. You saw me tell you this guy's just kind of... He reminds me a lot of Sean Strickland. Just the guy who won't press the gas and go for it. He won't redline. He's just kind of out there moving, and you just don't believe in that shit. And then we got this guy, Mikalev, who showed up swinging them things. He's known as a grappler, and we saw no grappling. 0 takedowns. They were standing the whole fight. 9 seconds of control time. Like, they were not there to grapple. Pummel, none of that stuff. Let's just bang. And he was throwing them kicks with a whip. He can kick high, low. He looked like he was in shape. He looked like he was enjoying himself. I think the kid is strong. So we just need to remember that he's physically strong. He can strike, and then more importantly, Kevin Jusset, bro, all the hype. Shout out to Vegas. They're going to keep making his odds terrible. We're going to be fading him hard. Anytime I see somebody out there with a remote amount of ability, we're fading Jusset all day. Can't stand the way this guy fights. Mentally, emotionally, physically, very unimpressed with him. Not being able to go out there and impose your will on a guy who's making his debut. You just looked not the part. Not a 190 favorite for sure. So, learned a lot about both those fighters in this particular fight. Shout out to them. Mikalev, I don't know how great you really are. You got a lot of muscle. You hit hard, but it's so slow. It's so slow. And apparently, Jusset can't move. My happiest moment last night, although we got everything right, this one right here is a big deal. For the third week in a row, but for the 4th time this year, I have accurately predicted an undefeated fighter would lose. When you have to fade an undefeated fighter, it's going to happen at some point in your life. You have to hope you get it right. It's so hard to do. Yet here we were, and I went and watched tape on Cody Still, and every time if you watch tape on Cody Still and you watch it with the volume off, like, don't listen to the announcers, don't listen to them glazing how great he is, his takedown acumen, his grappling, his combat, jiu-jitsu, like, ignore all that. Just watch it on mute. Don't watch it with any commentators influencing you. And when you watch Cody Still, you see a guy who's dressing up as a striker like it's Halloween. Like, he's not a real striker. He thinks he is. He's got muscles. He's in shape. He hits hard. That's not what makes you a striker. Boxing and striking is all about angles, level changes, and understanding timing. Okay? He has none of that. Rong Zhu is Asian with no chin, is what they tell me. But Rong Zhu is a real striker. When you watch him, he works angles. He reads your hands. He reads your feet, your stance, your level changes, and he just does everything right. So I'm sitting here going, guys, this minus 360 favorite from Cody Still, this ain't real. I'm telling you, it's not real. It reminds me a lot of Bashi. These dudes undefeated coming from the Contender Series, and you're about to fight a guy in Rong Zhu who's only 24, and he's been fighting the UFC for forever. He's got 31 fights. He's seen dudes like this, and Rong Zhu ain't been knocked out. Like, what are we talking about? We're not going there, bro. And Rong Zhu masterclassed this kid, beat his ass so bad. And the more telling part about this is Cody Still might have an advantage on the mat. He has no ability to wrestle. Wrestling and grappling, two different things, guys. Wrestling, you start on your feet and you got to get a takedown. Okay? In jiu-jitsu, these nerds will pull guard and then they end up on the ground. You don't do that in wrestling. It's still a takedown. You might even get near fall point. So what I'm saying is Cody Still is a jiu-jitsu nerd with muscles. They're the worst kind of fighters to have. Number one, he doesn't have the skill set or the ability right now to get a takedown, to force it to where he's good. Every single round starts on your feet. Every fight starts on your feet, and he can't do anything with that. He thinks he can. He's beat up a bunch of cab drivers on the way to this fight. He believes in his power, and he thinks he can actually throw them things, but he can't, man. You thought Rong Zhu was faster than him. Rong Zhu is not faster than him. Rong Zhu's going a shorter distance. Any of you guys ever been to a traffic circle? One of them roundabouts? If you're running around the traffic circle, it's going to take you a while to get to the other side. But if you just run straight across it, I bet you beat the guy running around. If you're the same speed. It's just simple, I don't know, geometry? I was paying attention in math. I think it was geometry, bro. Diameter versus radius, some shit. I'm telling you right now, Cody Still throws looping punches, winging punches. He's incredibly strong. Rong Zhu throws straight punches. They're going to the point, down the pipe. And he moves and he's slick and he's nice with it. Shout out to Rong Zhu. He's not your typical Chinaman who's getting beat up and looking and getting embarrassed. I knew this was coming and we predicted an underdog to win. When people see me go chalk, dude, in the UFC, chalk's going to happen. You just have to predict when it's not going to happen. And that's the hardest part. And right now, in 2025, we are predicting this over 50% of the time. That is absurd. If you are anywhere near 50%, you are extremely profitable when picking underdogs in the UFC. Please understand, this is not football, bro. This is not your normal, your day-to-day betting that you guys are doing. This is once a week, try to figure it out. It doesn't matter what the odds are. You got to just get it right. Shout out to the MVPs who believed in me. There was an all-Asian parlay people were putting out there, and that was Rong Zhu, Wang, who's coming up, and the champ. And we hit it. It was a plus 1,000. Congratulations, MVPs. Next fight, Colby Thickness versus Alexandre Topuria. We'll start with Colby Thickness. Colby Slickness, Thickness. What I saw from Colby Thickness was a guy who kept trying. He really did. He had 8 takedown attempts, and none of them got done. None of them landed. Topuria is extremely strong, and he sweats a lot, and he's very slippery. He's just a little bundle of muscle, very strong. Guess what? Topuria was not a minus 370 favorite. He should not have been. He was a minus 400 earlier in the week. He closed at minus 370. Winning on every card, 30-27, didn't impress me. He should not have been that big of a favorite. It wasn't that lopsided. I like Colby Thickness's attempts, his effort, even as it was dwindling down. That dude was in it to fight. I hope he gets another fight and a contract, and we won't sleep on this lurch-looking dude. He had a little bit going for him. On the other side, Topuria. Vegas is going to make you pay if you want to pick Topuria. Minus 400 favorite. Let me tell you, Topuria is boring, methodical, slow, does not redline his body, does not push it to the limits at all. Topuria is conserving energy, afraid to go to the deep end, bro. He's annoying. Topuria is a speed walker. You know what that means? Like if you were racing somebody, a speed walker might beat you because they just keep speed walking, right? But he's never going to open it up and run. He's never going to full stride this thing. Nope. He's doing that speed walking bullshit. Shout out to him for winning. We picked him. It was a lock. But my goodness, did I learn a lot about Topuria. He is not him. Mentally, he's not him. He went out there and gave praise to Thickness and all this shit. You should have took this kid's lunch money, short notice fight, one fight contract, show him he's not UFC caliber. And instead, I walked away from this fight. Even though you won 30-27, I said, this guy is fake. This is another case of those brothers not being as good as the main one. Shout out to Nate Diaz. That was a joke. That was a joke. Okay. Next fight. Speaking of a joke. Anybody telling me to take Bruna Brazil because she was a plus 300, you're a joke. You're a joke. I told you. She's moving up in weight class. Got nothing for Wang Kong. No, first off, stop calling her Wang Tang Tong Chong. What the hell were they saying on the broadcast? I'll never know. They called her everything but her name. They called her everything but her name. They called her the Wong Ting. They called her the Wong Ting. Some Ting Wong. I'm telling you, bro, that was not cool. Her name is Wang. She got a big one. What up, Wang Kong? Usually a minus 1,000 favorite. She's a minus 300. I'm screaming, guys, you got to take her. You got to. She should not be like that. She should not be this underdog like that, or she should not be a favorite by only 300 or 400. She's way better than Bruna Brazil. Well, Rico, Bruna Brazil, she's amazing. She's a fighting nerd. She's been a fighting nerd her whole life, bro. She didn't just get there. Let me tell you what kind of nerd Bruna Brazil is. She landed 31 strikes in 15 minutes. That's the type of nerd she is. She landed 2 strikes every minute in a real fight, in a cage, for your life. She landed 2 strikes a minute. Get her off my TV. I never believed in her. I was so happy I didn't. Bum. Trash. Wang Kong got that business. Now, shout out to the MVPs. We'll talk about all the bets and the winnings and stuff. Easy as pie. Wang Kong, she can just move. She can strike. I still hate her. I hate her in every press conference. I hate her little Joker shit. I hate the way she handed a rose and flipped a coin. And none of it matters. It doesn't even match. It doesn't even line up, bro. I don't know much about DC lore. I'm not a comic book guy. But I think she's just meshing a bunch of characters together and trying to make it her own. Like, I really do. She don't understand. Joker don't do none of that shit. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if she came to the next press conference and was giving out riddles and shit. And she thought she was the Joker. I'm going to give out riddles. She's just weird, bro. She's got it all wrong. I'm just letting you know. I don't know I don't know shit about DC, bro. Shout out to my kids. They do. Next fight, Tom Nolan and Schlav here. And this is where we started going a little wrong on our predictions. Only wrong in props. We missed some props, some value props. You guys got to understand, value props, when I show you the chart, value props are not hitting all that much. I think they're in the 30-40 range. Careful, they're big payouts. You shouldn't be parlaying them. And I know I felt kind of bad. I know an MVP wrote to me and he said, "Hey Rico, I need to redo the way I bet because I'm not green after last night," which is crazy. Because the parlays were 7-2, the locks were 5-0. How are you not green? I can't bet for you, bro. I don't know what you're doing. You don't know what you're doing. It's fucking nuts, okay? But nonetheless, in this particular fight here, I told you this fight would end in a knockout. Nobody really went for it. Tom Nolan styled this man. Tom Nolan looked good. I just don't trust Tom Nolan for a couple of reasons. Number one, no chin whatsoever. Vegas usually makes you pay for him. I guess this was a good spot to buy in Tom Nolan because it was so cheap. A minus 105 before the fight. That's nuts. It really is for somebody that's always been a minus 600 favorite on most of his fight cards. Okay, so shout out to Tom Nolan. Went out there, he used his length, diversity in strikes, which somebody on TikTok tried to tell me that's not a criteria, Rico. Yeah, it is. It looks amazing. When you see guys throwing jabs, crosses, kicks, high kicks, low kicks, middle kicks, T kicks, question mark kicks, like when you start seeing a variety of strikes, it's flashy, bro. And them judges got no choice but to just give you the round because you showing me every tool you got, bro. You showing me every tool you got. You mean to tell me you like a girl with just a pretty smile, bro? I got to see it all. You can't just give me a pretty smile. You better have a lot more to come with it, bro. You better have a lot more. Shout out to Borshslav. He don't have a lot more. No grappling whatsoever. Went out there to bang and throw them things. Really disappointing. Didn't get the win. It is what it is. It was a coin flip fight. and whoever's chin was going to hold up wins. Well, it actually turned into whoever's more athletic and had the length and utilized it. Tom Nolan looked good. All right. Next fight. Woo-hoo! This is it right here. I told you it's going to be a slight little sweat because this boy Jack Jenkins can kick. That's what I said. But we're taking Gabriel Santos and we put him on a bunch of parlays. And I just said, look, guys, the value at minus 220 is too good to ignore. Whether it was 220, 240, 260 at some point during the week, Gabriel Santos is a very good fighter. He's a high-level fighter, masterclass fighter, and he masterclassed Jack Jenkins. Now, I thought it was going to go the distance. I thought Jack Jenkins was a little tougher than this. Now, it went to third round, so no shade. 2 minutes in the third round, he gets rear naked choked. Jack Jenkins had one of the most incredible head kicks during the fight. Head kick, and almost won the fight with a head kick. But Gabriel Santos got his wits together, and you got to remember, as a Brazilian fighter, when you're training with Charles Oliveira, and you have this build, the way he's built, you're going to be really good at jiu-jitsu. And we knew that going in. He actually should have won this fight with a triangle choke at some point. But you're just so good at jiu-jitsu that you feel really good where you're at. The thing he needs to be careful with is if you're in a striking match with somebody, anything can happen. So take it to where you have the advantage. Now, he's not very good at grappling, at clinching up against the cage because he's not physically imposing, but he's in shape. He knows what he's doing, and he scrambles really well. And you got a guy like Jack Jenkins. He looks like a guy who went out for the wrestling team and kept going every single day and then eventually became one of the best wrestlers because he was there every day. But he's not very athletic. He sucks. He's the last dude you're going to pick on the basketball team. You know how you can tell when somebody's athletic if we're picking teams for basketball? If you get picked first, bro. You ever done that before? You ever went out there to play? Like anytime I play basketball, we're going to go run a game. We're on the court somewhere. They're picking teams. They're like, yo, let me get Rico. Why? Because I'm a damn athlete. Because I look like one. Because I move like one. I got skinny ankles. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you got to be a certain way. Jack Jenkins he's never been picked first in his life. Like, seriously. I think he's very unathletic. He's got a lot of flexibility in his legs and his kicks, but we can't pick this dude at any point. He just doesn't have much. He doesn't bring much to the table skills wise. Really, he's like a dull knife. Like he's a knife, but he's not winning anything. You probably stab me 3 times with that thing. I'm still gonna function. Like it's just that's the way Jack Jenkins is. He's just limited. Limited is the way I'll describe him. Next fight, main event, main card. Excuse me, not main event. Main card, first fight on the main card. Jake Matthews, Francisco Prado. Prado, usually a 155 fighter, moved up to 170, tired of cutting weight. So he goes up to 170, and he's a plus 200 underdog, and I get a bunch of DMs saying, Rico, are you on Prado? Are you on Prado? Oh, I love the way Prado. I love Prado. I love the way he looks. I love the way he bangs. And I'm like, yeah, bro, if we were doing a modeling contract, he looks really good for a fitness model. He's got every muscle you're looking for. He's got the right tattoos in the right place. Got a nice haircut. Shout out to South America. Right? Argentinian, Peruvian. All these fighters ain't shit, bro. I said, wait, what are you guys doing? Jake Matthews has been in the UFC since he was 19. He's been there for 11 years. 11 years of fighting the best fighters in the world. Francisco Prado, he's been in the UFC for 3 fights. And he was 1-2. You kidding me? No way you can believe in Prado. He bit off more than he can chew. I think Prado's going to get dropped from the UFC, and it's not his fault. He just can't figure out where he needs to be. When you watch this fight, physically not strong enough to be at 170. It's going to take years for him to gain that muscle. So I think he goes back to the regional scene. And then we'll see him back once he gains the muscle to fight at 170. It's going to take, he's 22. He'll be back when he's like 28. And he's going to be one mean SOB. But right now, he doesn't have it. Let me tell you guys something. I bench press, and this is all about me. Oh, Rico's always talking about himself. Bro, it's my fucking channel. It's my platform. I bench press over 300 pounds like it's nothing right now. When I was 28, 29 years old, in the prime of my fighting life, in the prime of my athletic career, I couldn't bench press like this. No way, dude. I just go out there and just rip weights. I'm 42 years old. It takes time to gain this muscle. It does. Old man strength type deal. That's why heavyweights hit their prime in the mid-30s. Because it just takes time to build the muscle you need to be where you need to be. And Jake Matthews is in his prime. Jake Matthews is lifting. He looked huge. He looked fast and crisp. And it's another one of those cases where he was throwing straight strikes and Francisco Prado was throwing looping strikes. Now, I thought Jake Matthews had an advantage on the ground, and he didn't care. He didn't go for it. He wasn't having it. He just wanted to beat him up on his feet, and it was a very Easy, comfortable win for him. Now, one thing I'll say about Jake Matthews, in 11 years in the UFC and the number of fights he's had, and he's had a ton of fights, he's got Don King for a promoter, bro. He's got Don King for a promoter because he has managed to avoid vicious opponents. Like, I get it. He fought undefeated Michael Morales and he lost 30-27. But Michael Morales is not vicious. He's just huge, athletic, a lot of length, but he don't really finish people like that. Put your lights out. Sean Brady, he got subbed. But how many times has he been knocked out? One time in all these fights. Look at all these UFC fights. And it was just Kevin Lee. They have just been giving him guys who aren't all that dangerous when it comes to damage. And I think it's good. It's bolted really well with him. He has a lot of tread left on his tires. He's not beat up. He's not terrible. Now, I'll say he's limited. I'll say he's a limited athlete. He's not the greatest athlete, but, dude, he's been in the UFC since he was 19. How many great fighters go to the UFC at 19? I'll wait. Raul Rosas, 17, right? So when you find those prodigies, can you imagine what they're going to look like 10 years from now? And you think some random dude from the regional scene is going to show up and beat him? Nah, this was an easy call for me. I made it a lock. I told you Jake Matthews by points. It was a value bet at that point. We got Jake Matthews by points. It was plus money. And we got it right. Shout out to me. Shout out to the MVPs. Feels pretty good. Next fight. We got this one right, too. We got robbed by the judges. Mark Goddard, you little, okay. Jimmy Crute against Rodolfo Bellato. Everybody laughing, saying Jimmy Crute sucks and can't fight. And I agree. He sucks and he can't fight. And he's fighting Rodolfo Bellato, who I told you doesn't have a chin. Jimmy Crute beat this man in the first round. It was a 10-8 first round, but he really won the fight. He put him down with one strike and it was over, and they just didn't stop it in time, which is utter bullshit. And then they tell me he loses the next 2 rounds, and so we get a majority draw. Now, technically in gambling, it's a push. You get your money back. They void it out. Shout out to the sportsbooks for doing that. But what did I learn in this fight? I learned Jimmy Crute's very limited in his cardio. He can't really push for 3 rounds the way he needs to. Rodolfo Bellato is exactly who I thought he was. A big, strong guy with a lot of heart. Not going to quit, but limited in his ability to fight. I told you guys we're taking Jimmy Crute in this for a couple reasons. And this is going to sound crazy. But Jimmy Crute was fighting superior 205-pound fighters in the UFC. He was fighting champions, and then Alonzo Menefield. The 4 losses Jimmy Crute had in a row in the last 5 fights, those 4 would have obliterated Bellato. So we're talking about a guy who's never fought anybody on the right versus a guy who fights UFC fighters. And yes, he retired early in his life, and yes, he walked away from the cage. Got it. I know all that stuff. I'm just telling you that one guy is up here and another dude is just a regional fighter. And that's where Bellato is. He's a regional fighter. He's tough, but I can't imagine us putting... If you're betting on Bellato as a fighter, you don't respect your coin. You just don't. I'm serious. You should be tricking right now. You should be paying for happy ending massages and tricking on the nearest girl on a dating app. Like, you should give your money away because that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Go give your money away. Serious. Shout out to Jimmy Crute. Oh, man. Here we go. How wrong can you be with a smile on your face? So, heavyweight, Justin Tafa versus Taliesin Teixeira. Now, I was not wrong. The Tafa brothers are the worst I've ever seen. Junior Tafa is probably worse than who's that other guy? Who's the guy that Herbert Burns? Junior Tafa and Herbert Burns are right there for the worst brothers ever, okay? And then you got the real brothers, Justin here. Justin is supposed to be decent. Man, this man, look at that, threw one punch. He threw one punch and it didn't land. Taliesin Teixeira looked like an elite athlete compared to him, which is crazy. Taliesin Teixeira, they said he's only fought bums. I said he's only fought bums. And he went out there and proved he still only fought bums because Justin Tafa is the king of all the bums. Like, if you got a bunch of blobs and you got to say one of these blobs is better than the rest, that's Justin Tafa, bro. He is terrible. Terrible. He got his nose smashed for, I don't know what he got paid, but that's all it took was a nose smash and go. We learned nothing. Well, we learned Justin Tafa cannot be backed in any way, shape, or form. We knew this fight was not going to go the distance. That was a bet to make to parlay. And I know an MVP wrote, Rico, I'm going to stop betting on these not go the distance parlays because I didn't get them right. Bro, get your life together. Diversify your bets. There was 9 parlays to choose from. Pick all 9. Put a unit on all 9. You would have been straight. But it is what it is. I can't bet for you. Once again, Taliesin Teixeira undefeated. 6'7", moves well. I hope he gets past the USADA test pool. Remember, USADA. Whoever's testing in the UFC nowadays. When you're in a UFC debut, you haven't had to pass a drug test. You get it post-fight. So a lot of these guys in their debuts, I hope they're clean, man. That's all I'm saying. I hope they're clean. He doesn't look muscular. He's not a threat, but you get what I'm saying. Speaking of looking muscular, that is my real laugh. I'm serious. I'll be watching Dave Chappelle like, Let me explain this to you guys. Zhang Weili was an underdog plus 125. Tatiana Suarez is everybody's hype machine. And anyone on the internet talking fucking MMA, I'm telling you right now, go to YouTube. Search UFC 312 predictions. The shit they talk about blows my mind. And I look at those guys, no shade to any of them. But I know why they haven't created a $500,000 platform on their own back. Like, I know why they're not me. I know why they can't do what I do. No, they'll tell you they do. They'll tell you they're great at it. They got all these... I don't give a shit, bro. My graphics suck. My mic sucks. My accuracy is real. I'm telling you right now, I never once believed in Tatiana Suarez, not even a little bit. I told you that straight up. I see a girl, she got nothing on the feet for Zhang Weili, nothing. And every round starts on the feet. I don't think she's great at anything. I think she has a really weak base. I say she has no ass. None of her body weight is in her lower portion of her body, bro. She has a great torso, great muscles, no cardio. What are we doing fighting 5 rounds if you haven't fought all year? You can't fight for 25 minutes you haven't fought all year. And Tatiana Suarez proved it. Because she didn't put up a fight at all in this fight. Nothing. She's the type of nerd to get in a dominant body position and pretend like we're wearing a gi. Like, she doesn't want to strike at all. She doesn't try to inflict any damage. You know what she needs to do? They need to take her back into the gym and teach her where she can strike from in every dominant body position. We're here now. You can elbow from here. You can inflict pain from here. You can do that. But when you drill and you drill and you drill and you never do closed fist, and you never do open hand, and you never do real striking while grappling, you have no clue how to win a round with damage. You have no clue how to inflict pain in dominant body positions, and that is Tatiana Suarez. She just wants to pull guillotine. She just wants to pull, and guess what, guys? I've been in the cage when you're trying to squeeze a guillotine, and it doesn't get it done because your arms are blown, and you can't finish that choke. And when you're there, that's a scary feeling. Now you're just staring at the clock saying, I need a moral victory. I need to just get out of here. There's no chance you can win this fight. She's talking about her knee. How bad does it look? Bitch, look down! Look down! How bad does it look? Shut up! Making excuses. Sitting in the corner making excuses. You're supposed to be out there to try to beat a world champion. Out here talking about your fucking knee. You're breathing. You can't scrap. You can't strike. It's just the reality of life. I'm sure she'll tap out a bunch of people who don't know what they're doing, but not the champ. The greatest of all time, and you're an underdog, I'm laughing at you guys. Laughing at everybody, because I called this shit like it was nothing. I called it, this is Marab. This is Marab. You guys are tripping. Undefeated, hype, not that active. This is Marab. And we got Marab at plus 225, predicted that too. We're here looking at Zhang Weili. I'm like, what's up, bro? What you want to do? Make your first move. Because she's going to make move 2, 3, 4, and 5. The champ, there's nothing else to say. She's got amazing cardio. She throws combos, stays in the pocket. Elite level wrestling. I don't want to hear that she's slippery, bro. Shut up. Shut up. First time fighting somebody slippery? Yeah, it's probably the case when you fought 12 times and you're 34 years old. You only fought 12 times? You're 34, bro? Rico, she's fighting cancer. Then get the fuck out the cage. Shout out to Zhang Weili. Main event. Easiest call of the year so far. I can't believe in Sean Strickland, not even a little bit. Dude's playing patty cake in there. Doesn't really want to throw them things. Doesn't belong in any championship fights. He's not championship caliber. He got into championship fights by accident. He was a last-minute last-minute fill-in against Adesanya, and then he magically won. And now he's in championship fights from then on, which is absurd because he was never that championship-level fighter. Never has been, never will be. He didn't have that ability. I saw a picture on Twitter this morning, and it said two real-life badasses. And it had DDP and Sean Strickland. I was like, where's the second guy? Where's the second real-life badass? Because DDP's a grown-ass man about this, right? Easiest money, easiest call I've ever made. Easiest. It was laughable. Rico, the significant strikes were almost equivalent. No, they're not, bro. Those aren't real significant strikes. Sean Strickland set the record for most significant strikes in the weight class. He broke Michael Bisping's record. You know the difference? Sean Strickland's strikes, none of them are significant. None of them. It's a jab and dude's stuck in third gear. All of you assume he's got fifth gear. He don't have it, bro. How many leg kicks did he throw? 10. 10 kicks in 25 minutes. You got 2 fucking legs, bro. Throw them. 10? Oh, you got that really amazing T-kick, and he rolls his shoulders, and he's hard to hit. Dude, he's in there. Go back and watch the fight, and just watch him. He looks like he's jab sparring. Do you guys know what jab sparring is? I'm going to tell you what jab sparring is. When I'm in the gym with all my students, all my pupils, I will get them to drill one another. And for warm-ups, I'll have them do pummeling 50-50s. And we'll just pummel, just to get our arms tired so nobody can get hurt. So we're going to pummel and fight for underhooks for like 15 minutes. Yep. Then when we're done with that, we're going to jab spar. You're sparring each other, but all you're allowed to do is throw a jab. That's Sean Strickland. He shows up, worn out from the locker room, and all he does is throw a jab. It's the most embarrassing thing I ever seen, bro. Where's your cross? Where's your hook? Where's your level change? Where's your want to? Watch Drickus. Watch Drickus in there. Level change, angles. They go, oh, it's awkward. No, it's instincts. It's innate. He was born with it. He wants to impose his will upon you. And this Strickland dude knows like this, bro. Nose was pointing that way. Like exit that way. And he grabbed it and he straightened it out. Oh, Rico, he's so tough. Rico, he's so tough. You don't even know. He's tough, Rico. You wouldn't say this to his face. You know why we know he's tough? Because we watched him get his ass whooped for 25 minutes. That's why you know he's tough. I'm not impressed. You get in the cage, you're supposed to win. Dude didn't win a round. He didn't win a round. He wasn't winning at any point of this fight. South African Drickus du Plessis is a specimen. Gonna impose his will on you. Easiest money I ever made. Shout out to the MVPs. I'm gonna pull up the chart now. Boom! This is what the chart looks like. Updated numbers, feeling pretty good. Let me show you guys. Check this out. It's 2025. Just so you know, we started a little rusty. First card of the year, 6-8. Okay, it was rough. 42% on the money line. Terrible. Next week, got a little better, and now we're really flowing. And we're in a good flow state right now. We're currently 17-5 on the last 22 fights. 17-5 on the last 22 fights. That includes, I bet nobody on the internet can touch me in this. Nobody on the entire internet predicted Peyton Talbot losing, Umar Nurmagomedov losing, Shara Magomedov losing, Cody Steele losing. Like, nobody's doing what I'm doing. That's real. Okay? And I've been doing this for years, right? Over 500 fights. Over 42 fight cards in the last year. I'm over 82% on locks. Now, we had to bounce back, and we got all 5 locks right here, so we're getting there. We're at 68.75% on locks. It's tough. Well, what's a lock, Rico? A lock is when I tell you that guy's definitely not losing. I don't know what the odds are on the locks. I don't really give a shit. One lock was here at 245, 355, 725, 215, and 250. I don't care. I'm just telling you, when I make it a lock, we're getting it right. That's the reality of the situation. Leans this year. We went a little cold last night. We did go 1-2 on the leans last night. So we're currently 68 and 68.75%. We're 11-5. They're equivalent, bro. It doesn't matter if it's a lock or a lean. I've been right. Get at me. Money line value. This is the greatest thing in the world. Value bets are when I pick an underdog. I'm above 50%. You can't fuck with me, bro. And it would be even higher if they gave me that Jimmy Crute win. You can't mess with me when picking underdogs. Currently 9-8 on the year. Should be 10-8, but we're not going to go there. Anything near 50% when picking underdogs is highly profitable. I don't discuss ROI because I don't tell you how many units to place on that fight. That's your business. I analyze fighters and I tell you what I would do, right? But your ROI is your business. MVPs, some MVPs are better than others. Oh, I know he's going to say some MVPs are better than others, but this is a cop-out, man. He should be holding my hand and showing me where to piss. You want me to shake it for you, bro? I can't do that for you. Get your life together. Parlays overall, just under 50%. Not happy about it. We're crawling out of this. If you guys don't remember, I can show you. We were 0-6 on parlays on the first card. 0-6 the next week. We were 1-11 on parlays. And now we're sitting here at 13-14. 1-11, 13-14, 2 weeks later. Don't quit on yourself. If you're in a rut and you're losing, keep going. Oh, Rico, I'm an addict. You're telling me to feed my addiction. No, I'm telling you to keep going. Trust me. The math's going to work out. We know that this is going to be above 56% by the end of the year because it always is. It always is. I'm probably going to be a little higher. Watch me. Watch me whistle while I work. Parlay prop locks. We were ugly to start the year. We're bouncing back. We're getting there. We're dominating. This week, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 5. We went 5-2 on parlay prop locks. If you don't know, what is a parlay prop lock? Well, it's a parlay that I tell you is a lock. That means it'll be in white text or green text when we go to the results. So you're looking for the white and green parlays at the bottom. The 2 purples don't count. Those are value bet parlays. That's a little different. Those are much harder to hit. And we hit the shit out of those last night. MVPs made a ton of money. The all-Asian parlay, plus 1,000. MVPs hit that shit all night last night. All in all, pretty good. We missed our first prop lean. I said Santos by points. We almost got there. He ended up choking him out. Santos by points was the pick, and it's the first lean that I made black. If I make it black, I consider it a lean. First one we missed all year. We were 11-0. Value bet, parlay, these are hard to hit, and we just got to climb this back up. We want to get it above 40%. These are high value bets. It sucks. Trying our best, y'all. Overall, props got to improve. It was just a bad night of props last night. Those 4 in a row, missing. Another one over here, not going the distance, missing. But we did hit by points, over rounds, go the distance, points. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Under rounds on Tafa, 5. What else did we hit? Oh, not go the distance here, 6. So we hit 6 props. It's terrible. We want to hit way more and miss less on the prop side of the house. But money line, parlays, locks, MVPs, talk to me. Feels pretty good. Hope you guys learned a lot about the fighters. I'll see you guys on the next fight card. I'm Rico Knows. Thank you guys for rocking with me. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace.